Hi there. Are you looking to strengthen your legs so that you can rely less on your walker, cane, or other assisted devices? Well, if this sounds like you, then join me for a strength training class designed to improve your mobility so that you can walk with more independence and confidence. This exercise class is going to be super effective in improving mobility in that lower body. So if you have a goal this next year of improving your mobility to a point where you can go grocery shopping by yourself without that walker or cane, then this class is for you. The only equipment that you're going to need to perform this exercise class with me is a chair, a progress journal, which you can download in the description box below, and your best effort. Now, don't forget, subscribe to our channel, turn on the notifications so that you can be notified when our latest videos drop, and please leave us a like after the video if you enjoyed it. All right, you ready? Let's do this. Hey y'all, I'm so glad you could join me today for this exercise class to help improve your mobility so you can get off that cane or walker. The new year is around the corner and I know you all have goals of being able to grocery shop, play with your loved ones, and simply increase that mobility. So let's do it. We're starting on the ground. We're gonna go a few exercises today. Just follow along with me. We're gonna execute a leg press to begin with. We're going left leg first. If you want something for stability in your low back, you could always sit against a wall. You could be sitting on your bed right now. You could also sit up on a couch and put an ottoman in front. Just make sure you're in a horizontal plane here to allow the line of resistance to be appropriate to engage quads, glutes. Now, once you complete this exercise or you have completed it, you can always increase the difficulty to make sure you're getting the most out of the exercise. All right, we're gonna go to the starting position. We're gonna straighten right leg down. I want us to bend. If you need to use your hands, bend all the way to the top. This is the top turnaround. We're going to initiate movement and clock is on. We're heading out. We're going to what we call a dynamic technique set. This is gonna be hip flexor heavy as well too, but that's gonna help with your mobility. Pause, heading back in. Now the entire time, think about keeping your quadricep and your glute flexed and engaged. What we're looking for is continuous and uninterrupted loading of the targeted muscle, which is the thigh or the quad and the glute or the rear end here. Pause, heading back in. You're thinking about breathing freely, realizing that muscle failure is the goal. So you should be challenging yourself here. When you get to the point where you can no longer continue with proper form through the full range, notate the time that you see on the clock above so you can be measured, because we're going to write that down in our journal afterwards. Being measured is a super important piece of an exercise puzzle to make sure you're getting the best results. Now again, remind yourself as you start to fatigue here, this is all about increasing your mobility, getting off that walker, that cane. This is gonna add strength and stability into your lower body, specifically knee and hip here, okay? This next effort here is taking us past the 60-second mark, which is going to bring us into what we call the exhaust range, which is the last 30 seconds of the exercise, and where if it's an appropriate difficulty to truly prompt the best results, you will reach muscle failure. So as we head out, thinking about staying postured and flat, thinking about extending knee, breathing freely, going past the 115 mark. Final opportunity, no matter what, to reach momentary muscle failure. So as you come to the top, you're gonna pause and you're gonna head the other way. Thinking about squeezing the thigh, squeezing the glute, feeling a deep burn. If you've already gotten to the point where you can't continue, that's a good thing, not a bad thing, and relaxing. Excellent effort. Every single one of you, just focus on giving your very best efforts, right? Because that's what exercise is all about. I'm gonna write down and notate. I completed the set, so I'm gonna write plus. We're gonna write 130, meaning I need to increase the difficulty next time of the exercise. Why? Because this is exercise, not movement. And exercise must have not only specificity, so target the area you're looking to improve, but you should also have progression built in, because that's what's gonna prompt the best results. Let's jump to the next exercise. Now, I know this is an exercise for your mobility, but we are going to jump to the upper body here, which will help your torso, abdominal, your arms. We're gonna go what we call a metabolic push-up, okay? So hands and knees. If you are not able to get onto your knees, that's perfectly fine. You can take legs out from underneath you here, okay? As long as this is okay on your low back. You could also put a pillow underneath your knees as well. You could also go up on your toes if you have the mobility to do so and you're able to challenge yourself at that level. Most important thing here is that you're making it safe, but yet challenging on your body. Ready to do this? Let's get it. I'm gonna go to the starting position, nose out of our fingertips, clock is on. We're gonna bend elbows so that you have the tricep or the back of the arm engaged. Clock is on. We're executing what we call a metabolic technique set, or isometric. So we're just holding in place. Now, we're not just holding in place and sitting here, we're actively engaging in this position. So in order to actively engage, what you want to focus on is think about trying to wrinkle the floor underneath your nose the entire time here. Because when you think about adducting or wrinkling the floor underneath your nose, you're going to feel your chest, your shoulders, and your arms engage at a far greater level, which then sends a greater intensity, which then sends you a higher quality of exercise to your body. Heart rate's going to start to pick up. Now the goal is muscle failure. Muscle failure on this exercise is when you can no longer continue to stay in this position with proper form. If your hips start to fall, if you can't hold yourself anymore, if you have to sit back on your heels. And when you reach that point, that's success. You notate the time that's on the timer above so that you can write it on your progress journal afterwards, because we want to be measured in this process. And then you just jump in and continue to give your best effort for the remainder of the exercise. Now we're in that exhaust range, which is the final 30 seconds. Flex, engage. If you need to make this more difficult, then you can go up onto those toes. We could also talk about in later videos about adding resistance through bands, all kinds of different progression modalities and activations. We're in the final 10 seconds of its exhaust range. Focus on giving your best effort, reminding yourself of your why, which is reducing those symptoms, getting off of that walker. We are there. 130 on the nose, disengage. Whew, heart rate rolling. We're gonna keep rest times down. We are gonna write down, I went 130, so I'm gonna write down 130, and I'm gonna write plus my progress journal because I need to increase the difficulty next time, because that's what's gonna allow me again to get the best results, right? Let's go ahead and jump into the next exercise, which is going to be the opposite leg of that lower body hip press to allow us to increase that mobility and give us the very best results possible. Ready to do this? Let's jump into it. Okay, let's rock this leg press on the right side. Again, if you need something to help with the support of your back, please do so. We're gonna start in the starting position, which is bend in the knee. It is hip flexor heavy as well. Just give your best effort. If it's challenging, you're doing it. Clock is on. Initiate movement, we're heading out. As you head out, you're thinking about extending knee. Notice I'm going slowly here, because going slowly allows the muscle to do 100% of that exercise. Going slowly allows us to not only get better results, but it keeps it safe on the body. We want to ensure that the muscle is leading every aspect of this exercise. We're pausing at the end point, heading back in. As you come knees towards chest, remember and realize that your range of motion doesn't have to look like my range of motion. You simply give your best effort to move through the range that your body allows you to have. Be measured, and then go forward, right? Meet your body where it's at. Allow yourself to prove to you what you can do, and then you increase the difficulty as needed. We're getting ready to go past that 60-second mark. Make sure you are reminding yourself why we are exercising today. We're exercising because we want to increase our mobility. We want to be able to walk down those grocery store aisles by ourselves in a confident manner. We want to be able to play outside with our loved ones, go on a walk if we want to, right? We want to rely less on other devices in order to help us do so. And when you are exercising at a higher intensity, you are sending the clear signal to allow you to accomplish that. Last 15 seconds, final opportunity to reach muscle failure. So as you come out, really think about squeezing the thigh, the glute. We want continuous and uninterrupted loading. As we head back in, we're going past that 130 mark. Exercise set is completed. Now, I finished or completed the entirety of the exercise set. So once again, I'm gonna write that plus, I'm gonna write 130, and I'm going to know that next time I need to increase the difficulty. And we can talk about how to increase the difficulty in a later video at a different date. Let's go ahead and jump into the next exercise, which is gonna be an upper body movement before we wrap things up with the lower body movement, okay? So follow me to the next exercise. Now we're gonna jump into a chair now here, okay? So we're going to take a seat. We're gonna go what we call an armchair push-up. So it's another upper body active engagement, a metabolic technique set. You want heel of hand into the side. If you have arms on your chair, you can use that as well too. What we're targeting is the triceps, the deltoids, and the chest, a little bit of your abdominals and torso as well too. This is what some people will call the squat of the upper body, okay? You ready to do this? Let's go ahead and go to the starting position, which is hips slightly forward, press through heels, clock is on. Now, my rear end is off of the chair, okay? Off of the chair here, right? I'm focused on pressing, slight bend. If you're able to, if you need to challenge yourself more, you can bring your rear end forward and let it be slightly off the chair, as long as your wrists, shoulders, and elbows are all in line and you're not feeling discomfort in your shoulder. Now, tuck of the pelvis, breathing freely, slight bend, Also, just like that push plank, focus on adducting the hands the entire time, which allows you to actively engage at a greater level. Muscle failure is the goal, which is simply on this exercise, the point where you can no longer continue to stay continuously engaged with the muscle tissue. Now remember that this is working your arms, your shoulders. It's gonna give you increased upper body strength. Also, you're gonna feel the heart rate is rolling right now. You can tell that my heart rate is up, right? Becoming harder for me to talk through this exercise, which is a great thing because then you see peripheral adaptations at the tissue level, muscular-wise, as well as central adaptations, your cardiovascular system, right? Exercise delivers cardiovascular capacity as well as muscular strength if you're doing it in a manner that is appropriate. Now, we're in that exhaust range. Notice I'm shaking. Shake is natural. And remember, you only have to give your best effort. That's the only expectation. You can no longer continue. Just notate the time on the clock and jump back in with your best effort. We have no more than 4 more seconds. Woo! 3 more seconds. I'm there. Woo! Fully exhausted the muscle. Right at the 128 mark, right? So I did reach momentary muscle failure, so I successfully did it. Meaning I don't need to increase the difficulty next time yet, okay? Especially in this sequencing, right? It was our second upper body movement in this exercise class today. We had that push plank first. So when it's my second exercise from an upper body standpoint, I don't need any more resistance. That's the importance of sequencing and being measured with a journal so that you know what your body needs when the exercises are sequenced in this manner. Ready to rock and roll? Let's hit one more exercise in this exercise class today, which is a lower body movement that's going to help with posterior stability. It's going to target the hamstrings. It's called a heel slide. It's going to be a bilateral exercise set, and you are going to do it with me right now. Let's do this. All right, so we're going to start in the fully contracted position. So back is flat. We're using both feet. If you want to remove your shoes and place a piece of paper underneath your feet or a paper plate, anything like that, to reduce the friction of the movement itself, that will be helpful, okay? Because what we're trying to target here is the hamstring, and if you reduce the friction and you're able to slide better on the floor, you're gonna get better engagement, and that's what exercise is all about. All right, you ready to rock and roll? Let's go to the starting position, which is you're gonna slide your feet as far underneath as possible without discomfort in the knees. Clock is on. We're heading out with the legs. So this is actually the quadriceps as you extend those knees. As we go to the far turnaround, we're gonna pause and we're heading back in. Now, as you come back to the body, think about pressing into that paper plate or that paper as you pull through, because when you dig down as you pull, it allows you to engage your hamstrings at a greater level. Pause, heading back out. That's the back of your thighs, by the way. Muscle failure is the goal, which is the point where you can no longer continue with uninterrupted and continuous engagement of this muscle with proper form. So when you get to that point, when you're shaky, you can no longer continue, have to relax, notate the time on the clock, pat yourself on the back, be excited because you successfully did it, and then jump back in, right? Also, as I've mentioned earlier, it is super important to remind yourself during this exercise, your why. Why are you doing this? We're doing it because we want to increase our strength, we want to increase some mobility, get off of the walker, get off of the cane, allow yourself to have more control over your mobility. Pause, heading back in, and you'll do that by strengthening hamstrings, which then leads to more stability in your lower body. Pause 1, we're in that exhaust range. It's the final 30 seconds of the exercise no matter what. As we come to the end point, we're gonna pause. We're going into one more final opportunity here to take all that the body allows you to have. As you come underneath, take those heels down, back stays flat, feeling those hamstrings work, and we are crossing that 130 mark and disengaging and relaxing. I'm going to jump onto my progress journal just like you are, so grabbing it out. I'm gonna write 130 because I made it to the 130 mark without fully exhausting the muscles successfully. So I'm gonna write that plus because I know that I need to increase the difficulty next time. And I know I repeat myself, but the reason I repeat myself is because I care about your results. These fundamental principles are what we call steady pace pillars of success, okay? Strength train, active rest recovery, and protein intake or nutrition. We can jump into that in another video, or those of you that have been around our channels and our community long enough know that, okay? You've done it, you've strength trained. Now make sure you focus on getting adequate protein, getting active rest in, and you can execute this exercise 1 to 3 times per week. Increase the intensity, be measured, and you will get the results that you want. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you are looking to increase from a standpoint of mobility, right? Are you wanting to get off your walker, right? More than likely you are, because that's what the title of this strength training session was. But let us know specifically what you are looking to accomplish, because we want to be a part of that journey with you. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video. Let us know what you'd like to see in future videos so we can accommodate you. And thank you so much for sharing your journey with us here at MS Workouts. I'll see you next week. If you want to get into a more structured and regimented program that can help you gain more control of your symptoms, then you should join our Take the Fight to the Muscles Workout Club. Now, by joining, you will receive access to an exclusive seated full body fundamentals workout class that updates every 2 weeks, stretch classes to help you alleviate tightness and spasticity, access to our 2 most popular Focus On series for foot drop and hip flexors, plus bonus Q&As with myself each month where I can answer your questions about exercise in MS. Click the join button below this video to learn more information about the Take the Fight to the Muscles Workout Club and to see which plan works best for you. I'll see you all next week.